Hello and welcome to SnowBrains News, where we bring you all the latest breaking news from the ski and snowboard universe. I'm your host, Miles Clark. Let's get right into the news for the week of September 15th, 2023. Last week, we saw the first snowfalls of the season for places like California, Utah, Idaho, and British Columbia. This week, high elevations in Colorado saw their first snowfalls, including Breckenridge, Aspen, Arapahoe Basin, Copper Mountain, Rocky Mountain National Park, and Pikes Peak. SnowBrains weather team is forecasting additional snow for the high country of Colorado this weekend, potentially into next week. Colorado ski resorts like Arapahoe Basin and Loveland usually open in October. That's next month, people. So if you're from Colorado, it's time to get ready for ski season. Staying in Colorado, Winter Park Resort just announced $100 million of upgrades ahead of the upcoming ski season. The biggest upgrade will be employee housing with the completion of a brand new 330-bed employee housing unit, calling it Conifer Commons. This employee housing project is aimed at addressing the critical housing crisis that's been happening in the local community. Winter Park also finished installation of a brand new chairlift. It's a high-speed six-pack in the Vasquez Ridge, calling it the Wild Spur Express. In addition, $30 million has gone to other on-mountain and base area upgrades, including snowmaking, new food and beverage setups, and new retail and rental experiences. This week, some locals in Jackson Hole, Wyoming were pretty pissed off about Jackson Hole's new plan to make expert terrain easier. Jackson Hole is known for being one of the most badass ski areas in North America, and their latest announcement proposed a plan that would prioritize the creation of intermediate terrain. The zone that has locals the most upset is the Altitudes, which is just a killer steep skiing zone with legendary local lines like Daydream, Nightmare, and the Goalpost. Jackson Hole's plan is to remove rocks and then thin and delimb trees in the area and allow more open access and fewer closures throughout the winter. The second area in question is the North Woods, where they're planning to clear trees and rocks for a groom ground. Although the motivation for both of these decisions appears to be skier safety, many locals argue that making the mountain more accessible takes away from the mountain's character and increases the likelihood of someone getting into a situation that is out of their control. The proposal is currently in the process of reviewing public comments and preparing a draft environmental assessment. In another story of public backlash this week, Winter Park, Colorado drew criticism after announcing a new Early Ups Lift Pass add-on for an additional $50 per day that allows skiers and riders to hit the slopes 30 minutes before everybody else. The add-on can be purchased 7 days in advance and will allow early access to intermediate and advanced terrain serviced by the Super Gauge and Explorer chairlifts. Critics claim the pass will ruin the tradition of skiers and riders getting out early and earning their spot in line. With the continuing trend of corporate conglomeration in the ski industry, especially among the bigger resorts, you can probably expect to see similar programs like this Early Ups program rolling out at other major resorts in the coming years. This past week, a pickup truck from Arkansas, otherwise known as Arkansas, attempted to drive up Colorado's DeCalibron Loop and got stuck at over 14,000 feet on Mount Lincoln on a trail. Disappearance of the driver led to a rescue operation that involved multiple agencies, spending over 132 man-hours and nearly 1,500 miles driven by the volunteers in their search efforts. The driver, who apparently misread signage, hiked down to Alma, I guess a town down there, after his rear wheel slid off the trail. I mean, this is just a trail on a 14er. Following day, a rescue team attempted to recover the truck with ropes and failed, and resulting in the truck owner contacting a commercial tow company who was able to get the truck out of there. 6 days later. In South America ski news, although an initially slow start to the winter, rain and ice and rough conditions, at least down here where I am in Patagonia, the late season storms have arrived. You might even be able to hear it right now. The rain is pouring down on my roof. Anyway, these late season storms have allowed a lot of ski areas to extend their seasons. Cerro Catedral in Argentina, Valle Nevado in Chile, Portillo in Chile, and other Patagonia ski areas have all extended their closing dates with even more snow in the forecast. It wouldn't be surprising if some of those ski resorts extended their season even a little bit further. Yesterday, Schweitzer, the largest ski resort in Idaho, announced a new high-speed quad for the first phase of their new Schweitzer Creek Village that will be ready for this coming ski season. The new Creekside Express chairlift will double the uphill capacity to 2,400 riders per hour coming up from the Creek Village. The resort has also invested $22 million into the new Schraupenhaus. You gotta love that name. A new employee housing project located in Pondry. The first phase of that project will include 84 apartments that will open in advance of the coming ski season. It's great to see ski resorts really leaning into this employee housing thing and taking care of their employees. We love this. Applaud. We've got more ski resort improvement projects. Gunstock Mountain in New Hampshire just announced $6 million in renovations for their upcoming season. These upgrades, which are mostly not on the mountain, mostly off slope at least. There are major renovations to the Stockade and Summit Lodges, a brand new 2-story rental shop, an addition to the Panorama Pub on the summit, and smaller upgrades to the historic lodge, and they're going to repave the parking lot. The on-mountain upgrades will include improvements to the current snowmaking, and they're going to widen some of the trails. Last Friday, Brian Head Resort in Utah announced over $1 million in improvements for the upcoming winter season. The upgrades include new gladed terrain, ranging from green to double black, upgrading snowmaking and grooming equipment, and some more upgrades at the Brian Head Lodge. They will also be offering first-time skiers a free on-snow experience designed to prepare new guests for their first time on snow. This past week, Wolf Creek Ski Area in Colorado teased on their social media a new chairlift installation to serve the brand new beginner terrain. Although not officially public yet, the project was approved by the U.S. Forest Service 4 weeks ago, and work was started immediately. The project is part of Wolf Creek's 20-year master plan that was finalized in 2012. In other ski resort expansion news, Mount Bohemia in Michigan, which is legendary up there in the UP, announced that it will be expanding its terrain by adding 2 new gladed runs and installing new lights for night skiing. They love night skiing in the Midwest. Sadly, we just learned from a friend that 32-year-old mountain guide Aaron Livingston passed away in a free solo climbing accident in Lake Tahoe, California this week. The incident occurred at the popular Donner Summit Black Wall climbing spot near Truckee, California, where people had spotted Aaron climbing on Monday evening. He was free solo climbing. Aaron was very well known in the Lake Tahoe community. He was a friend of a lot of our friends. He was a guide at Alpenglow expeditions, and he'll be sorely missed in Lake Tahoe and in Colorado, where he was guiding previously. On Monday, Aspen Snowmass announced it's rebranding its Pandora terrain expansion as Heroes. This is in tribute to individuals who have contributed a lot to the local Aspen area. The Heroes expansion will include 153 acres of skiable terrain and a new high-speed quad chairlift. Now on to Kiwi news. This past week, a new skiing world record was set when 1,500 skiers and riders at the Remarkables in New Zealand set a record for the most people wearing swimwear while skiing. The record-setting activity was part of a 6-day snow machine festival where they had tons of on-mountain events, concerts, and they said it was the most people that ever had showed up to the Remarkables in their history. And we've got more world records for you this week. On Monday, Fred Miles set the world record for the oldest person to tandem paraglide. He was 105 years old, which is pretty amazing. He's still out doing stuff like this. So this record-setting action took place at Jackson Hole Mountain Resort, and Fred, who's a Air Force veteran, he didn't even realize that he broke a record, which you gotta love that. All right, let's jump into the trip reports from this week. Personally, I've been down here skiing in Patagonia. I'm in Bariloche, Argentina, and it's been unreal. We've gotten so much snow. I'm calling this an epic season. I think it's my favorite season of my 13 seasons down here. It's just been nonstop since August 17th. Just snow, snow, snow. Just doing all we can to get enough rest. Right now, a huge storm is just clobbering us. We've got another day or two before snow levels drop, and it should get back to some incredible skiing down here in Patagonia. And we've got bike reports. This past weekend was the opening of the first phase of Solitude Resort's brand new bike park over in Utah. And Martin from SnowBrains was there giving it a whirl, and a full report, which you can find on snowbrains.com. The first phase of this bike park opened with 4 downhill mountain bike trails ranging from a green free ride trail to a black technical trail, and they both can be accessed from the Moonbeam Express chairlift. This week we also had Polly down in New Zealand with his stellar reports coming out of the Ohau snowfields in the southern Alps, and they're experiencing some pretty good spring conditions right now. It's worth having a look. With insane amounts of snowfall happening this week in the Andes Mountains in South America, Las Leñas Ski Resort in Argentina experienced 2 inbound avalanches. They had an atmospheric river come and drop over 10 feet of snow on the summit in about 24 hours. They got over 1 meter of snow at the base. It was nuts. According to an updated September El Nino Outlook published by NOAA today, El Nino is expected to stick around with a greater than 95% chance to continue through at least January and possibly March 2024. There's now a 71% chance that this event peaks as a strong El Nino, which will result in increased storms in California, the Southern Rockies, and the southeastern US. While the Northern Rockies and Pacific Northwest will likely see less snowfall this season. That's all we got for you this week. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching SnowBrains News. We would love to know your feedback, your thoughts on the stories we brought to you this week. And if we missed anything that you wanted to see, make sure you mention that in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you next Friday with our third edition of SnowBrains News.